It takes a very special talent to keep fans mystified, whether it's on a court or a field in any sport. But it's even more impressive when every career move captivates an entire sports audience globally as a player makes a change. That is the case with Ricardinho. Ricardinho is 37 years old, considered a living legend of the sport. When you think of some of the top talents in futsal to ever play the game, Ricardinho is always in the conversation, along with Falcao, two of what are considered the absolute greatest players of all time. And he has done it again. Someone who typically mystifies us with his abilities on the court, even so much so that YouTube channels have actually created highlights of Ricardinho year over year over year. He is a highlight machine. And I would actually point you guys to a link in the description of this video where I am going to link a channel that follows Ricardinho pretty closely and has some specific videos for him, Clamino. It's a lot of fun watching those highlights, and it doesn't stop there. There's all kinds of highlights of whatever you want to see: passing, shooting, great plays of futsal, even a channel, a video on the channel about kids' fails learning futsal and having a little bit of fun. But back to what's important, and that's Ricardinho. He has joined Riga Futsal Club in Latvia after taking a break at home after a year-long stint in Indonesia. He has taken 2 days in his home country of Portugal and has moved over to Latvia to re-enter the Champions League with them. Pendikar United was fortunate enough to have Ricardinho at their service for just over a year. Ricardinho first started with a short stint at the club with his signing to finish out the season, which saw the team finish in 4th place. A full season with the club just recently ended, and unfortunately, again, a 4th place finish for Pendikar United. But more important than that, I think, is the rising tide that raises all ships that we talk about here on the channel. And the fan base in Indonesia came out in droves, and I think Ricardinho was a big part of that. You already have a country that is a hotbed for futsal and is growing rapidly, and then you add a name like the greatest to ever play, Ricardinho, to the mix. Of course, it's going to have an impact on who shows up. I mean, just look at what Messi's done for Miami. Same thing, but for our sport here in futsal, we have Ricardinho making massive waves everywhere he goes. He brings a windfall of great talent and great mentorship and a great batch of fans that can't wait to see him play live. So it's a really great, healthy move for now Riga Futsal, Latvian champions, entering the Futsal Champions League. Let's see what happens. Ricardinho comes back to the Champions League. Can he make an impact? He won't be the only big name at Riga, though. One of the other really big names there, Dylan Vargas, one of my favorite players from San Lorenzo, has been playing with Riga. And then you also see Serginho, who recently transferred over from RSCA Anderlecht, who were just in the Final Four for the Champions League just a couple months ago when we covered it. So a lot of big names. They're making really big moves over at Riga Futsal Club to put talented group of people around their existing player base. And Ricardinho is a part of that equation, of course. Now, Riga is in the preliminary round of the Champions League. They will be looking to expand on some success domestically from their championship win and move on to the main round of Champions League play, which is where all of the heavy hitters are. UEFA Champions League seeding is always a little bit tricky if you're not familiar with the contest, but the long story short is the champions from the smaller countries and smaller clubs and leagues around Europe are going to be playing in a group stage. And the winners from these group stages will be moving on to participate in what is called the main round, where the top 15 clubs from across Europe, from the top leagues in the continent, are waiting. We're talking about Barcelona. We're talking about defending champions Palma, Benfica, Anderlecht, all these teams that are powerhouses. Even a team that has made huge waves in social media recently with their astronomical growth, a team like Dinamo out of Croatia, waiting in that main round. So what does that mean for Riga? Well, they will be hosting their group. They're in Latvia, so they do have a little bit of a home court advantage, which is great news for them. And they will be seeing the likes of Istanbul Sicily from Turkey coming to play, as well as recent German champions Jan Rosenberg, and then Regensburg, and then finally Araz from Azerbaiján, and they will be all coming to Latvia to participate in the group stage to see who moves on and who will be competing in that main round. From there, the main round will, of course, funnel down to the final four like we've covered here on the channel before. So you guys will have to keep an eye out and see if Riga makes it there. But what do you guys think about this move for Ricardinho? At 37 years old, still finding a way to participate at the highest level. He never ceases to amaze us. What do you guys think is the future for Ricardinho from here? Is he going to help Riga Futsal move through the preliminary round? And if so, what do you guys think about a small country like Riga getting the jackpot with Ricardinho? And what is your prediction on how far they will make it through the league? Personally, for me to put my own personal spin at the end of this video, I cannot wait to see if we can get some highlights or live streams from Latvia to see Ricardinho play. I know when he was in Indonesia, it was difficult for me to follow him with the time difference, but saw plenty of highlights, and I know that he still has a ton in the tank to continue to amaze us at futsal. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about this news in the comments, and until I hear from you next time, don't forget to play with your soul.